What do you need to start a home business? Well, welcome back. Now, I'm Ted Thomas, and I've been an entrepreneur for over 30 years, and I do that from a small office at home. So before you hit the ground running, let's take a few minutes and let's evaluate and develop a future plan. If you don't have a plan, and you don't have a template, and you don't have a guide, you're probably going to drift and not go and be successful. So you want to have some kind of plan. That means you're also going to need a skill set. So what are you going to do in the future? Do you have a skill that you can charge for? In other words, is it a profession, or maybe it's a craft, or something that you can solve other people's problems? You can provide a service to solve problems, or you could provide a product to solve problems. But the point is, if you're going to start a home business, what are you going to need? So, do you already have a financial plan? And how is this business going to influence what you're going to do for the rest of your life? Or maybe you're just going to start this business, and as soon as it gets going, you're going to leave it and sell it to somebody else. Or are you going to be one of those people that start a business and then build it and grow it year after year? It's going to be up to you. But it's probably a good idea to ask yourself, where do you want to be in 5 years or 10 years from now? And then try to lay out some kind of plan in front of you so that you're following a step-by-step plan. That helps a lot. Why? Because it keeps you on track. Just like a roadmap or GPS would keep you en route to your destination, that's what you're doing now. You're planning on heading to a destination. So my recommendation is get it written down, get it laid out in front of you so that you know what you're working towards and you're not guessing what you have to do the next day. All right, now, have you been trained in business? If you're not, are you going to get training in that business? So think about the profession and think about solving people's problems and think about how you're going to do that. Are you already trained or are you going to get trained? So how long is that going to take? And now you need to start thinking about the financial part of it. What's it going to take for money to do that? Now, if you're going to get an office, you don't need one on the 17th floor downtown with a big office with a view. You don't need that. Most entrepreneurs start in their garage or an extra bedroom using a small desk and a cell phone. That's all you need to get started. It does have to be a quiet place and preferably away from the family so you're able to concentrate and take care of business. All right, now most startups are starting up with not a lot of money, but you need some money to start. Who's going to take care of your family? Who's going to take care of this business? And who's going to take care of you? All right, you need some money to get started. So don't get started. Don't just quit your job. So Ted Thomas rule number 1 is don't quit your job. Rule number 2 is read rule number 1 or listen to rule number 1 again. Don't quit the job. Why? Because you need money to survive. A lot of people don't do that. So you don't want to just start to do things and hope it's all going to work. So let's think this thing out a little bit. If you're going to have a business, you need to transcribe the plan, at least get something written in front of you. So if you're going to work every day, you know what you're working towards, a goal. In other words, you're trying to get to a certain result at the end of each day and the end of each week, okay? So you don't want to just get in business and try to make it work. You want to get with experienced people that are going to help you. For example, you don't want to get in an airplane and fly from let's say, Atlanta to Seattle with a pilot that's never flown the airplane before or never flown the route. You want to get around some experienced people that are going to help you out a little bit and you can ask questions of. So my point is, experienced people are going to help you a lot. You don't know what you don't know. So if you haven't created some kind of plan, then you need to do that. Now, the internet is filled with business plans. I mean, it's filled. You can download free business plans for a week on the internet. Now, I don't know how many of them are very good. I've read many that I was disappointed in. Why? Because they left out some very important things. Now, people that write business plans might be writers. They might be previously successful people. But you only need a few things in that business plan that you must have. And one is, how are you going to create revenue? If you don't know how you're going to create revenue and it's not written in that business plan, then you've got to get that in there. Otherwise, you're not going to survive business. What else do you need? You need to understand that marketing and sales are important. The revenue that's going to come in is going to come in from sales and it's going to come in from marketing and those sales. If you don't have those skills, and you better make sure that you got someone that does have the skills, but you better make sure that it's incorporated in the business plan, because if it's not, and you're worried about all the little nitty-gritties of running that business, listen, lots of people can run businesses. Very few people can found them and then make sure that the revenue is coming in and make sure marketing and sales are going on. So talk about nitty-gritties. You're going to use up a lot of time on nitty-gritties when you need to be worried about revenue. So challenge number one is always the planning. The planning needs to be written down. So create that plan and then put down what the revenue is. Now, I've seen hundreds of business plans. Some of them have 50 pages, 100 pages, or they have leather bindings. They look beautiful. When I go and read it, there's nothing in there that tells me where the revenue is going to come from. There's nothing in there that tells me how the sales and marketing is going to take place. Well, I don't care about the size of the office. I don't care about the interview process that you're going to go through. I don't care about the hundreds of things in that business plan unless I know about revenue and I know about marketing and sales. Now, that's my personal recommendation. You can read the business plan, and you need to so that you understand it. But if you can't create revenue and you can't create a business plan, you're going to be in big trouble. All right, now most businesses are there to solve problems. So this episode is all about what do you need to start a home business? Well, I decided that I didn't want to go to work for a big corporation. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to find work that I could do as an entrepreneur, all right, so I could work for myself. So I discovered 30 years ago a business where I could buy at wholesale and I could sell for any price I want. It turned out it was part of the real estate business. All right, now you know what the real estate business is. It's basically homes. It could be vacant residential lots. It could be small apartments. It could be small farms. People buy and sell those as agents. And there's attorneys involved in it. There's fixer-upper people involved in it. There's literally thousands of people that work in real estate every day. All right, this is a subset of that business, and the subset is tax defaulted real estate. It's the same single family homes, mostly homes, and it's some farms and it's some small office buildings. All right, but the people haven't paid the tax. And when they haven't paid the tax, guess what? The local government has a shortfall, because how are they going to pay the police? How are they going to pay the fire department? So the legislature passed the law that says everybody pays property tax. And if you don't pay property tax, the county treasurer will, number one, levy the tax. Then they'll try to collect the tax. If they can't collect the tax, they will confiscate the property. Now, what does that mean? That means they're going to take the property away from the owner, and they're going to resell it so they can collect those taxes. Now, they don't try to resell it for retail price. They resell it for very close to the back taxes. That means there could be a 60, 70, or 80% discount on that property, discount from whatever the tax assessed value or the market value. In other words, they're going to discount the properties. Well, if you could buy those properties for 10, 20, 30 cents on the dollar and sell them for anything you want, well, you could make a generous profit. Okay, now, daily, there's brokers out there and handymen and carpenters and roofers and all those people working in the traditional market. Well, they're also working in the tax defaulted market, so it's a big business. All right, 3,000 counties across the United States sell tax defaulted property. They sell the properties for basically the back taxes, and they wipe out the mortgage. In other words, there's no mortgage on the property, no deed of trust loan on the property. All the county wants to do is get rid of them. So I found that business. I found a business where I could buy low and I could sell for any price I want. So it's just a subset of the traditional real estate business. So that means the legislature is on my side. They're basically saying, we're going to confiscate these properties. We want to get rid of them. So they get rid of them for 60, 70, and 80% less than market value. So that means you can buy them for pennies. So visualize this yourself. Visualize you buying a property for 20 or 30 cents on the dollar, and then you selling it for any price you want. Now, you might not be able to get retail price because the property is slightly used and abused. Okay, it's not all shiny and doesn't have a brand new roof. So guess what? Those properties are discounted. But if you could buy it for 30 cents and you could sell it for 60 cents, that margin of 30 cents or 30%, you get to keep the whole thing. All right, now this business has been going on for 200 years. I didn't start it. I just saw that it was there, and I just took advantage of it, and you can too. It's honorable, it's ethical, and so right below me, if you'd like to have an auction list, I can provide you with one. So you can go below me, and you can choose an auction list, maybe even in your county, showing you that there's thousands of these properties. These properties are sold in all 3,000 counties, or more than 3,000 counties across the United States. Now, if you do buy at an auction, what you have to be careful of is you have to go and make sure you look at the property, because they are, some of them, used and abused. Now, if you haven't looked at the property right away, what if there was a hurricane? Or what if there was a flood? Or what if there was a fire? Anything could go wrong. So you always want to make sure you have boots on the ground. Now, before you ever buy the property, you can figure out your exit strategy. What could you sell it for? So what a business. You know what you're going to sell it for before you ever make an investment. So what do you need to start a business? You need a plan. And if you just have a plan, you'll be successful. My name is Ted Thomas.